Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome to a brand new video here on the channel. So hope you guys are all having an amazing day today. Now, this is going to be the first video on this channel. I started a new one because my other channel is primarily for like the main game that I play, and people were getting upset from that game. So like, screw it, let's make a new one. So subscribe if you're new, if you want to, follow these guides, tutorials, whatever. And what better way to start off a new channel than call out IGG on what needs to be changed and suggest for players to go on strike. So, this is going to be a sort of strike where players are not going to be spending for a certain amount of time until things are changed. It is no secret that things do need to change in the way that rewards are handed out. Back in the day, these rewards might have been useful, but these days, the game has evolved. The game has changed so much, and the value of some of these rewards are so insignificant these days. It doesn't make it worth the effort. I mean, Guild Wars, for example, and this is primarily like what it is about. You can spend hours and hours and hours perfecting your Guild Wars team, getting your Guild War base set up. And what do you get for it? 30k honor badges. By the way, this is buffed rewards. 30k honor badges and like 1,500 fame. That is like what? Let's see here. That will not even get you one level 5 talent chest, which by the way, you can get from like a $5 pack. You can get 20 of them these days. So the game has really increased the gap between free-to-play players and pay-to-play players. The gap between free-to-play and pay-to-play should be significant enough to incentivize people to spend money. I will not disagree with that. That is part of making a business, making the game successful. They gotta make money. However, it needs to be reasonable, okay? It needs to be attainable. And I will personally be joining in on this strike. I would appreciate if you guys might consider it as well. If you want to let me know down in the comments, if you agree, whatever, feel free. And this is not my actual, I'm not going to take credit for, thinking about doing this or whatever. I'm just making the video on it because someone asked me from my guild. And this is what he suggested. And I will go over it and kind of explain my thoughts on it as well. Okay, so that is what he suggested. And while I do agree with the idea of increasing the rewards in those particular areas, what I will say is I think that those rewards are going to still be going to players who don't need it, okay? For example, this, by the way, guys, I had to redo my entire team for this, and I haven't done it in the last 3 days. I was like top 10. I was nearly top 10 by day 3, but I just gave up because the thing is that for all the work, for all the changes to your team, for all the level 9 talent runes and the massive max breakthrough, okay, the rewards are trash. 1 level 9 talent rune and 100 VT igniting stones. Is it worth it? Absolutely freaking not. There is no point to grinding this out, to doing all this work just for this. And that goes to that includes everyone who does this event. There is literally almost no point. If you're free to play, you kind of have to, because otherwise, you're wasting an opportunity to get free stuff. But even then, it isn't even worth it for someone who's free to play. Honestly, you have to, you got to think about the time that you're going to invest in this. This is just one example. You got Guild Wars. You have these new BT crystals that you can buy with fame. 1 for 400. So with 527,000 fame, which for a free-to-play player is not going to be coming easy, you get 1/4 of 1 hero, out of 100, by the way, to 20. That doesn't even include to 30. And really, to be competitive in Arena at all, you really need to be able to have max breakthrough heroes, pretty much. Because otherwise, you're just going to get wiped really, really easily. So, there needs to be a change. I 100% agree. I do agree that also the game has evolved to where it's igniting and Zenith stones, right? Because breakthrough is so crucial. However, the thing is that from my point of view, those suggestions may or may not impact the lower levels, so to speak. The players who aren't spending, who aren't going to be first in Guild Wars. Because from what I can tell, from just that, strike, overview, that really only benefits the top 1% of players. I think from a free-to-play standpoint, there needs to be a change, right? There needs to be an increase in rewards for everyone, not just the top players. People who grind it out, who spend a ton of time building up their teams, just doing run after run after run, it needs to be rewarded. For example, these Here Be Monsters, it's really a joke. Or Infernal Summit. Guys, I've probably done 60 or something Infernal Summit runs since I've been back. I used a bunch of cards. I've not seen a single 5 Zenith Stone drop. Not a single one. I've seen a couple of 2s, but the majority of the time, I'm just getting the, Infernal boxes or the blue crystals, which isn't bad. But in order to be competitive in a lot of game modes these days, in order to be able to keep up even somewhat, you want those Zenith Stones. So why is it only 5 when the chances are so low? Honestly, what they should do, in my opinion at least, is just make it to where this max Zenith Stone drop is 80, period. Regardless of, your might or whatever, make it to where it is 80. Because even with that, even with it being 80, okay, it will still take a ton of runs. It will take a ton of times to max out a hero. It takes over 1,000. So that is, what, over, it's 1,600 or something like that. For a maxed, or not even maxed, but, breakthrough 20 hero. That would be that would be 20 runs just for one hero. And the chances of that dropping are super low anyways. So just increasing rewards across the board. In Guild Wars, sure, a lot of teams require it, but in the end of the day, there's no motivation to do it. 1,500 fame, when you have players like myself and people who spend even more than I do, who are sitting on, 12,000 fame boxes and could get up to 100,000 fame boxes fairly easily, there's not really a point. There really isn't, besides the ranking, but even that, it doesn't really freaking matter. Because in the end of the day, the ranking is based on might and on the donations. So what I'm trying to say is IGG, we need a change in rewards. We need a buff. I know they buffed the rewards technically, but it's not enough at all. It really isn't. If they increase the rewards for the grinders, for the free-to-play, I think they're going to have a lot more success with the game. I think a lot more people will be happy. Honestly, I think this game is great compared to the other one that I play. I prefer it to it. However, that is an issue. In both games, actually. But both games need to reward the free-to-play players a lot more than they do. Make it worth the grind. Don't make it to where it's so expensive to just get, one BC hero. The gap between free-to-play and pay-to-play should be significant enough to incentivize people to spend money. I will not disagree with that. That is part of making a business, making the game successful. They gotta make money. However, it needs to be reasonable, okay? It needs to be attainable. I don't know of a single player who's free-to-play completely that has, even 2 max BT heroes. I'd be very, very surprised if there is one. Because it's just not possible. Even if you grind out as much as you can, every single freaking time anything comes to your account, you grind it out, you are maxing out everything that is possible, you're still going to be super behind. You're not going to be able to get to a point where you can be competitive in a lot of these PvP game modes. And I know pay-to-play players are going to disagree and it's whatever the case may be. But keep in mind, even for the pay-to-play players, if they change this, it could potentially lessen the amount of money that you have to spend in order to get to where you want. So yeah, this is my challenge to you guys. Try it out. Again, it's going to be difficult. I will say it will be difficult probably for me, but I'm going to do it. I think it's worth it to see if they'll listen. If they don't, you know what? It is what it is. You got a little bit of extra money to spend on other things than a mobile game. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you agree with me, and share it if you would like. Anyways, I will see you in the next one. Peace out, fam.